after graduating Thomas, I mean, I know that you stayed on the music journey, obviously, because you just reached this next milestone in your career. Kind of take me through post grad and how we ended up to be on The Voice today.
Sure. Well, I mean, when I was at Thomas, I was just kind of getting into singing at that point. I mean, I didn't even, this is probably something maybe I shouldn't say on interviews about the voice, but I didn't even want to be a singer when I was younger. I mean, it wasn't even something that I ever considered. I was honestly just like, I'm just going to speak through my guitar and that's it. But after high school, learning guitar and learning recording techniques were very hand in hand for me because of my teacher in Rochester, Mike Deary. He kind of made sure both of those were emphasized. And so I went to school at Ithaca for recording and still concentrated in guitar. But my main focus there was just being in the studio and kind of honing production skills and just living in that world. So that was really where I started to hone my original music, I would say, and kind of come into myself as a singer. Working one night a week with whatever time I could get in the studio because it was so booked up. But eventually, came out of that with my debut record, and to be honest, it wasn't this like step by step like, all right, I'm gonna, write a song, then I'm gonna take vocal lessons, I'm gonna do this. It just like kind of happened, as most things do. And, after college, I obviously continued to pursue my original music and, still kind of centering myself on this idea that singing was just a trade more so for me, whereas guitar playing was my nature. It was certainly much more. I was certainly much more comfortable on the guitar than I was singing, but I just continued to do it. Through studio days of like hating the way my voice sounded, and then liking it other days, and just kind of coming into my own and growing. And um, I was able to figure it out somewhat without going to voice lessons, which in hindsight was a bad idea. Like I wish I had developed better technique young because now I'm just starting to get into it older. But moved to Atlanta eventually in the fall of 23, 22, fall of 22, and quickly got into the music scene here and ended up joining a wedding and corporate band where I met a good buddy of mine, Sif and Nam, and I was at an open mic one day, just kind of, it was this Tuesday night open mic that we went to every week, and someone from the show happened to be there. They were just in town visiting a friend, grabbing a drink at a bar, and I happened to be playing this open mic that they were at. And she came up to me after we played, and she was like, "Hey, I work for The Voice. You should apply." And I was like, "You're full of crap, is what you are." Like, I didn't really believe her at first. Like, that's crazy. And so I kind of swept it under the rug for like 6 months. I was like, "Yeah, it's not really my thing. I don't really do that." And it was really just my insecurities of putting myself out there, and not only my fear of rejection, but fear of success as well, that were coming through in that moment. And so spring, this was in October, and spring comes around, and I'm on a wedding gig with my buddy Steve. And I was like, oh yeah, it came up. I was like, back in October, I got, this woman asked me to be on The Voice, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, dude, are you going to do it? That's crazy. And I was like, no, I don't know. It's not really my thing. And he was like, I'll quit the band if you don't apply. And so I was like, whatever, man. And so the next day I emailed him like, is that offer still valid? She goes, yeah, you have 3 days to get all the submission materials in. And so I scrambled over the course of 3 days to get stuff in. And, I submitted and kind of secretly hoping that, I don't know. I had so many mixed feelings about it. And I got a call a week later and they were like, congratulations. And I'm going, what is happening right now? Like, I never even considered myself a singer, and here I am on The Voice. And I feel like, if anything, that's a testament to, you know, don't let this arbitrary idea of what you think success is box in the person that you currently are. You know what I mean? And um, there was just a life of musical fulfillment, and experiences of musical fulfillment for me were on the other side of one difficult decision. And so here we are, it's I still like, when I stop watching it at night, I go to my life and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's happening right now. I get, because it's so busy, I'm working so much. So but it's been such a blessing and just an insane experience, man. So that, long story short, that's kind of how I came to be on this show.
With everything happening so fast, and then you're in the blind audition, what does that kind of look like? What's the feeling when you see the back of the chairs?
It's there is there aren't a ton of words that are sufficient in describing that feeling. I mean, I've performed my whole life, and started playing in bars when I was 14, 15 years old. So I definitely don't have stage fright at this point. But I remember being about to walk out on that stage, and my heart is pounding out of my eyes. And like, I remember just having this thought of like, this is really happening. I'm really about to walk out and do this. John, Kelsey, Michael, and Adam, they're all out there. That's not holograms. It's not AI. Like, their real human bodies are out there in that room right now. I remember those doors opening. I walk out, and I'm standing on my mark, and it was quiet in the room, so that we can count in and start playing. But I remember feeling this like spiritual silence in that moment, and thinking in my head, I'm like, I've prepared for this as much as I can, and now I'm just gonna do what I do best and do the best I can, and whatever happens, happens. So much of the coolest stuff happened before I walked out on that stage, like the friends I made, and just the experiences. And so it was it was a surreal feeling standing on that stage. And when Michael turned, I'm like, I feel like a deer in headlights, you know what I mean? And they kept telling us, oh, you're going to black out during your performance. You're going to blink and it's going to be over. And I remember playing and I'm like, I am painfully aware of what is happening right now. I was like, please, can I black out? Like, please, where is it? Where's that blackout?
What was the reaction? I'm sure you got a lot of hometown, people reaching out and just so proud. And what does that feel like? And what's that reaction been?
It feels amazing, to put it in a small terms, but like, it took a village to get me to where I am today. And so all of that praise and all the love, it holds a different kind of gravity at this point, because I'm standing on their shoulders, right? All of my family and my friends from Rochester and my music teachers and all the schools I went to, like, all of that had to come together for me to get here. And so I had this insecurity that people were going to look at me a certain way because of going on this show and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this just proved that those insecurities are just completely invalid. You know what I mean? We have so many insecurities as musicians and artists, but people have been nothing but supportive, and the outpouring of love has been so overwhelming. And like, I don't know. It's one of those moments where I'm feeling so much gratitude that I just don't really know what to do with myself. And I just hope, I really, really hope, especially in Rochester, that people know how much I appreciate the support and love they got me here. It has never gone unnoticed, and it still doesn't go unnoticed. So it's just been wonderful, man. I feel so lucky to be here, and to have gotten that support. It's cool. You see my silly face on TV, and people are like, I'm so proud of you, dude. And I'm like, you know what, I definitely struggle with allowing myself to feel big moments and bask in that, because I don't know, it's a bit of a workaholic thing in me where I just am like, all right, on to the next thing. But it's really forced me to take a moment and just appreciate this, and people supporting me has definitely helped me with that.